how the brain works. This is a very passionate subject for me. So I want to cover a few things with you. The brain works on 5 sensors. I'm sure a lot of us have learned this, but when it comes to selling, it is very important to be aware of this. So there's 5 sensors. The one sensor is to do with sight. Then there's smell, there's taste, there's touch, and there's hearing. So when you're describing a story or a visualization for your prospect, make sure to include each one of those senses if possible. An example would be something like this. I went to the beach. I heard the seagulls. I smelt the ocean. I tasted the salt water. And I saw the beautiful waves. So I'm using the sensors. When you're using sensors in your story, what you're actually doing is that you're triggering more memories to be associated with that story to the prospect. And therefore, that prospect is going to remember the things that you said a lot more clearly. Remember, when you're in front of a prospect, you're working with gears. You're in gear 1. The first gear is to make contact with them. The second gear is to then ask them to come for a consultation. The third gear is going to be to take it to the next step, to build rapport, to build an emotion with them, understand their fears, understand their objections, and answer them accordingly. Gear 4 is to create a quote. That quote will then bring out more objections, more fears. So sitting in a consultation with them to answer that and mitigate that, and ultimately getting it to a point where you're closing it so you can go into gear 5 and actually get the money in your bank account. Another very important principle is to understand that using the wrong words can trigger subconscious no's. So just to give you an example, there are 2 sides to it. The one side could be on a relationship level, and the one side could also be on a personal level. So the one side is, if I use the word marketing and I'm speaking to a gatekeeper, the gatekeeper being the reception lady, and I need to get through to a director, and I say that we're offering marketing services, that gatekeeper may say, no, we're not interested, because the word marketing could be a trigger for her, and she's heard it so many times before by many different people, and she was instructed by the director that if you hear this, put the phone down. So it's very important to get past the gatekeeper using different words, different strategies, and different tactics. So one of the strategies that I would recommend is turn marketing into investment. When it comes to using the word like pay, use the word settle. So changing minor words in our vocabulary that have a lot of subconscious meaning behind them can go a long way when communicating to a prospect. It really takes the burn and the edge off that investment that they need to put forward, and it makes it easier for them to accept what they need to do without triggering subconscious trip mines, if we can call it that.